My name is Moon Petrie, and yes, I am doing Camp Nano. It is, just about springtime in Vermont, so the weather is gorgeous and so springtimey. And it's the perfect time for thinking about plotting a novel for Camp Nano. Or possibly it's too late and there won't be any plotting happening. I am drafting, and I pretty much had it with trying to revise during camp after this past November. So I am gonna be drafting, and I don't have a super clear plan, so it's gonna be pretty pantsy. I have talked before about how much I love the channel Overly Sarcastic Productions, and in particular their Trope Talks series. And I got really excited a few months ago about their Trope Talk Super Schools video. And this is obviously a really widespread trope in middle grade and YA, and it is something I really love. And it's something where there's a lot that's sort of already baked in, but there are also a lot of things that are expectations but not necessities. And so I've been thinking about subverting expectations. Um, it can be a fantasy trope, a science fiction trope, neither. I've read a bunch of these over the last year, actually, which is maybe part of the reason why I got so excited about the trope talk. And one that I really loved was Jennifer Lynn Barnes, who wrote the Hawthorne book. And it's about a program that is training particularly gifted teenagers for the FBI's behavioral analysis unit. So, super great thriller series. Anyway, so I knew I wanted to do a super school, and I didn't know what brand of super. So I've in recent days I've been working on figuring that out. Parts of it because I have some ideas about the aesthetic, the tone, stuff that's hard to describe or put my finger on, but does sort of push the story in certain directions more easily than others. So weighing that, I wanted my students to ultimately maybe like be a little bit exploited, or they're not just being trained for their own good, they're being trained for a purpose. Somebody's got a plan for them, which is a common facet of this trope when they're training super soldiers or whatever. And so I started looking into, stuff people did to people without their permission. Did some reading on MK Ultra. Yikes. Veered off from that a little. And started researching psychic phenomena, and there's actually been kind of a lot of fairly impressive research from China on extrasensory perception in various forms. Anyway, so I'm leaning toward that kind of super school situation. And there's one other thing, again from a trope talk, that I got really excited about and I'm going to be trying to include. This was the most recent trope talk video from just this past week, and it is the noodle incident. Now, noodle incidents, if you are not a huge Calvin and Hobbes fan, as soon as I saw the name of the trope, I was like, oh, I know what that is, because I'm a huge Calvin and Hobbes fan. When something is made reference to and never explained, so a sort of in-joke between characters or off the cuff, They do it a lot in Leverage. The Han Solo did it a lot. And so it can be like a way of showing sort of snarkiness of the character, or the dynamic sort of giving fleshing out of a dynamic between characters that have some sort of backstory together without having to actually dive into it. It can be used to show how like capable or badass or experienced somebody is. Or it can be used if the character is like, oh yeah, well, it's just like this, no big deal, to show how, if that's no big deal, just sort of how extreme their life is, or things like that. And so my goal is to have a character who does this repeatedly. So that is a major aspect of voice, which informs the character. I still got some options or like which direction to lean with it, but and something that is pretty different from a lot of super school stories, there needs to be somebody else who gets the in joke or understands what is being referenced. Usually these stories are, I've just shown up here, I don't know what is going on, and I don't know a single soul. So there's gonna have to be somebody from my protagonist's past who is also there. And I thought about, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's an enemy, and I thought, maybe it's some sort of rival. Like they have a lot of grudging respect for each other, but are going to be competitive with each other. And this is somebody that can, it can be a friendship arc. So that's what I've got. That is not a plot. That is not a plot even slightly, although I do have some other thoughts about other just tropes, specific types of redemption arc and things like that that I would really like to try to include. And so now I just have to kind of put the pieces together, and camp starts in like 7 hours. So wish me luck. Until next time, I am Moon Petrie, and if you are doing camp or have any thoughts on favorite tropes or favorite super school stories, or other YouTube channels that I might like, I would love if you would put them down below. I will link to Overly Sarcastic Productions Trope Talks playlist, and I strongly urge you to watch every single one of them with rapt attention.